Hello there, my music lovers. I'm Josh from Audiophile Heaven, and today we are having a look at a really special EM. We have the metallic card for the special pass. This is the IMR Audio Pro Dark Matter EM. It costs about 700 Great Britain pounds, which would translate to roughly $900 and they have a really unique driver. They have bone conduction motors paired with wideband dynamic drivers. So let's get down to the unboxing. The EMs are interesting, but first the package. We have a metallic card of authenticity. They are part of IMR's Audio Pro line, which is the best line they have. They also have this huge number of tuning mechanisms which are composed of both the body and the tip for the bore sound. They really change the sound quite a lot, and they act mostly as acoustic dampeners. Basically, they filter the sound that is being pushed through them. I prefer using the most open variations, the one that gives them the most bass and the most treble, so that I can hear the ability of the driver at its maximum, basically, at the most V-shaped level possible. IMR Audio also includes a good number of tips, both silicone, foam and double flanged tips. From experience, I can say that the best overall sound when you have bone conduction can be found with tips that are very sticky, like ASLA X Elastic Sedna Ear Fit. Those tend to have the best overall sound for bone conduction motors. Of course, you can use any other tip that fits your ears, but that is how the sound from the bone conduction motors gets the best to your ear. For the price, we have 3 high-end cables included with the IMR Dark Matter. We have 3 high-end cables, one that is 2.5 millimeters in the jack, one that is 3.5 millimeters in the jack, and one that is 4.4 millimeters, which I also have installed on the IMR Dark Matter. This is the best cable because it is the one I use the most, so it is the best. No questions about it. I prefer the 4.4 jack because it is thicker and it provides better construction resistance to the EM. To the EM. This is the EM. They have ventilation, which is good because they present no driver flex despite having a dynamic driver. They are very comfortable to wear, and the ergonomics and inner shape from IMR Audio are improving with every single release. Right now they have a very small inner body and they have this really rounded design for their EMs. The default tips work well for me, although for some of my testing I did switch to stickier tips to have better sonic impression from the bone conduction motors. The cable is detachable and is using a 2-pin connector, although it looks a bit longer than most 2-pin connectors. They also have this beautiful shell where they have the IMR Pro rating. They are pro rated because they are professional for professional listeners. I really like the comfort, I'll be honest with you. They feel nice in my ears. The IMR Audio Dark Matter provides between 20 and 25 decibels of passive noise isolation, but they also leak quite a bit given the ventilation for the dynamic driver. There is no microphonic noise conducted by the cable, and the cable is one of the best cables I've seen included with an EM. It is no microphonic, it doesn't really conduct microphonic noise, it is not tangle prone and not springy. You won't find a nut in your pocket when you try to grab the IMR Audio Dark Matter. I have been able to pair the Dark Matter with many sources over the past few weeks in which I've been testing them, but the best overall combination is with high-end music players like iBass DX300, Lotopo 6000, Astel & Kern SA180 or Astel & Kern CP2000T or Detonate DTR1 Plus music player. Those are the best that I've used with the IMR Acoustics Pro Dark Matter. They designed this EM for those that want to hear a tone of lows and who want to take a bath in bass, who want to just feel their entire being immersed in bass. And this is how I would describe the sound actually. They have a ton of bass. They also stated that the IMR Dark Matter is perfect for those that want a very good clarity of the mid-range and a very good musicality from the EM. And I think that they nailed those objectives quite well. The sound of the IMR Dark Matter is pretty much perfect in my book. It has a ton of bass, which is expected from IMR Audio. If you have not seen a review on IMR Audio before, you should totally do. Their EMs always have a ton of bass, a ton of substance, and a ton of impact. They're basically the best bass head EMs in the world usually. They just make that beautiful high-end sounding bass with a very wealthy, very rich type of bass with a ton of substance. It's just an effortless presentation for them. They just provide a ton of bass with zero distortions, but with a very smooth texture to the bass. At about this price point, there is a ton of competition for the IMR dark matter, and a ton of EMs want to be kings in the 1,000 US dollars price range. A ton of them have good reasons to become kings. I even reviewed some really good EMs recently. For example, the Unique Melody Mixed. Unique Melody Mixed is more V-shaped than the IMR Audio Dark Matter. Dark Matter has a much thicker, much richer sound with more bass and less treble actually. Unique Melody Mixed is a very U/V-shaped EM with a ton of brightness and a ton of presence in the treble. By contrast, IMR Audio Dark Matter has a very smooth and very refined type of treble that doesn't have a ton of impact and a ton of sparkle. It doesn't bite a lot. The choice will be very evident for you. If you like a brighter, a more snappy, a more present treble, you should go for the Unique Melody Mixed. While if you want a smoother sound with a much larger amount of bass and a much larger impact, you should go for the IMR Dark Matter. The Dark Matter is just much wealthier in the bass department. It just has much more bass. It is actually more comparable to a cheaper EM named Metal Wave. Metal Wave has a ton of bass too, and Metal Wave is also very smooth in the treble, but by comparison, IMR Dark Matter has more detail and more resolution than Metal Wave, while Metal Wave tends to be a bit more musical and smoother in general. It flows more effortlessly compared to the IMR Dark Matter, which tends to present music a bit more detailed with a bit more resolution, but also at the same time it tends to have more overall information and more overall impact in the sound. The sound of Dark Matter is more impactful, which tends to create less sensation of smoothness compared to the Metal Wave. There are many other competitors I could mention, also which are warm and bassy, but also competitors which are not so warm and bassy. A very good competitor that comes to my mind is an EM from Romania, actually named Meze Audio Rai Penta. And compared to it, IMR Audio Dark Matter has a much stronger bass, a much more impact, and at the same time it tends to have a richer presentation. Rai Penta tends to have a larger soundstage, but that's about it. That's pretty much the only advantage I can see to using the Rai Penta, because the resolution and overall definition is also better on the Dark Matter from IMR Acoustics. Mr. Bob from IMR Acoustics really knows how to create a very rich and very effortless type of sound with a very, very lush presentation. It's like he takes all of the bass that you can go for, but adds detail and adds resolution to that. By comparison, Meze Audio designed the Rai Penta to be kind of vague but kind of large, like a warmer, more friendly sounding HD 800S from Sennheiser. They didn't really design the Rai Penta to compete so well in the bass department compared to other bass head EMs. Another good comparison that I also have been making the video and writing the review about recently is the Olivetti OV800. OV800 is much more linear than the Dark Matter from IMR Acoustics. OV800 tends to be the type of EM that really shows everything. It's incredibly detailed, very resolute, and has a more analytical sound. By comparison, the Dark Matter is richer, it's smoother, it is more lush, and has much more substance in the sound. It's a very different type of presentation. I think that if you like a ton of bass, you would prefer the IMR Dark Matter very much. By comparison, if you want a more linear, more clean sound with a much more neutral presentation, you would prefer the Olivetti OV800. But IMR Audio Dark Matter is special not only just for bass sets, but also for those who want a natural type of presentation, because they don't really insist on the bass. It just comes naturally to you. And it is complicated to emphasize on this, but when you listen to IMR Dark Matter, you never stop to think that there is too much bass. You never stop to think this song shouldn't have so much bass. You never go to yourself like this. You just think, wow, this song has beautiful bass. And that is the thing, they don't really push the bass into you. There is a ton of bass, that is not questionable. There is way a lot of bass, but it's like enjoyable. The way it is combined with the mid-range, it's enjoyable. It's never like the bass is too much. You never think to yourself, I want to remove the bass. You think to yourself, man, I never knew I liked bass so much. And this is what the IMR Dark Matter made me realize, that I'm actually a bass head under my skin. And I hope that under your skin you are starting to like Audiophile Heaven. I'm really hoping that you are liking my work, that you're liking my channel, and I hope you'll consider subscribing to Audiophile Heaven if you enjoyed the content. Also leave a like on this video if you want to see more content like this and if you like my work, because having many likes will mean that I will keep making videos similar to this one. I really thank you for watching. I really am thankful for every single watch and every single view I get on this video. I hope you have the loveliest of weeks in there. Please enjoy some good music and please have some fun. I hope we'll see each other really soon. And don't forget, you rock for being here with me. Bye bye!